You're always going on YouTube, this has a gold here, my predictions for the F1 2013 Spanish Grand Prix. This is going to be some gameplay in the background here of me actually running a 3-lap race of the Spanish Grand Prix. Just so you know in the gameplay, going into turn 4 or turn 3, I'm not quite sure. I got a penalty for what I did running as Jensen Button. Anyway, let's get this gameplay underway and let's go into my predictions or preview. Right, in qualifying I predict that it will be Vettel first, Hamilton second and Alonso third. I predict Vettel will be first because I still think the Red Bull has got the ultimate one-lap pace, as they proved in virtually all the Grand Prix this year bar one. Unfortunately for me, as I'm not a huge Red Bull fan. Hamilton I think second because he got pole here last year, he just got relegated to the back of the field for an illegal manoeuvre or illegal substance in his car, I can't exactly remember, but he got put to the back, but he did qualify pole, he had the fastest lap time. And I think Mercedes are the new McLaren of the season, although Bahrain may not have showed that, I think they are overall. I put Alonso third because this is his home Grand Prix, he's going to be really up for this, he's going to be really excited for it. I mean, racing at home always puts your expectations a little bit higher. I think Ferrari have got the car to achieve this, so I put him third in qualifying because I think he'll have a good qualifying and a good race. Fourth I put Button, fifth I put Massa and sixth I put Grosjean. I put Button fourth because I think McLaren are back. I think they're back and ready to win a Grand Prix, but I don't think the qualifying pace is quite there yet. I think, as you can see in the clip or in this gameplay, even though it's a game, I think it still sums up that there's very little grip with the car. It's not quite there, it's not 100% there in qualifying, but I think over a race distance it will be pretty good. Which is why I put Button fourth and not on pole or second. I put fourth because I don't think the McLaren's there in qualifying. I put Massa fifth because I think the Ferrari's there, I just don't think he can get the most out of it at the moment compared to Alonso. I mean, I understand but the Bahrain race he had it like damage to his front wing which cost him to be behind Alonso, but in qualifying it doesn't make a difference, and he's been out qualified twice in a row now, and I think Alonso may be repaying the 4 times that Massa out qualified Alonso by out qualifying Massa 4 times. So I think Massa will finish behind Alonso, A, to keep up that streak, and B, I don't think he's quite there with the car. I think his confidence will be knocked after the Bahrain Grand Prix as well. I put Grosjean 6th because I think he's back in the running, and I think he's thereabouts. He could win a Grand Prix. I mean, and he's pretty high on confidence after coming third in Bahrain. It's best podium since Hungary last year, which is a long time ago. So I think he's there, but I don't think he's as Massa. I don't think he's there in qualifying, or the car isn't there certainly. And I don't remember Grosjean having any decent qualifying performances actually in Formula 1, that is. So I think he'll get into the top 10 quite comfortably, but I don't think he'll be anywhere near the front. I think he'll be 6th because it's a tricky track and Grosjean hasn't gone well at tricky tracks. Like, I mean, Monaco last year he crashed first corner, so we didn't know what it was like. Japan, first corner or second corner, crashing to Mark Webber. Tricky track, we don't know what he's like. So I put him 6th because I'm just not 100% sure at the moment. Rosberg up at 7th because his confidence being knocked a lot after his performance in the Bahrain Grand Prix. I think qualifying is where Mercedes are strong, but I can foresee Rosberg having some sort of problem of some kind in qualifying, and I think he might get a penalty as well after maybe doing some illegal manoeuvres on lap 1, which will cost him in qualifying. But that I could be wrong, but I think Rosberg won't get the most out of the car. I think he's going to set up his car more for a race than for qualifying because of the severe tyre degradation that they suffer. So I think Grosjean won't do well. Rosberg won't do well in qualifying, but I think he'll do pretty good in the race actually. I put Raikkonen at 8th, the rest of the 9th, and Perez 10th. I put Raikkonen 8th because he's very similar to Grosjean, and I don't think the Lotus is there in qualifying. It's certainly not there so far this season. But then we'll never know. Grosjean might be able to put that out the bag, but I can't see it. And Raikkonen, judging on his qualifying performances so far, he hasn't really qualified in the top 5 bar China. But I don't think he's there once again in Spain. I think he's not used to this track enough, even though he raced here last year. I still don't think he's warmed up to the track. The rest I put 9th because I think his Force India because of all the upgrades that are coming to Spain for every team, I think they've got the weakest upgrade on the car. I mean, that's compared to literally every team including Caterham and Marussia. I think they've got the weakest upgrade, but then they were in front of most of them teams before. So I think with the weaker upgrade, they'll just drop back slightly into the midfield, and maybe McLaren will outpace them, but I don't think they'll be there. I can't see them being there so far. I mean, the upgrades I think will let them down. I think they'll be hopeful in upgrades that I think will fail, unfortunately for them. And I have put Perez 10th because once again, he's not too strong qualifying. Even in Sauber days, he's not very strong qualifying. And I think McLaren are there, but once again I can see him like Rosberg having a problem, or being very similar to Rosberg in that sense. Or he just may not be able to extract the most out of the car, although I could be wrong. This is judging on the going from China, not really Bahrain. But I don't think he'll be able to extract the most out of the car. I could be wrong, and if I wasn't going to put him 10th, I would put him probably 7th or 8th anyway, so it would be near the back. Or he might not choose to run in qualifying, save the tyres, maybe switch the strategy up, maybe just do well. Simple as that. Just do well. And I think he'll be able to use his tyres to his advantage after being so high on confidence after Bahrain, and now I've got he's my favourite driver at the moment. So, but anyway, that was just qualifying. Into the race, I put Button first, Alonso second, and Hamilton third. Put Button first because I think McLaren have got the best race pace compared to Red Bull, who I think will chew up their tyres, especially the soft tyre if that's what Pirelli bring to Spain, because they're like Mercedes in that sense. They just eat their tyres too quick. So I put Button first, as I think he's the smoothest driver on the grid. Now I know he's the smoothest driver on the grid, and he's obviously saved his tyres a lot more, which means he'll be able to take the most out of them, so he'll be able to win the Grand Prix on race pace. I put Alonso second because he's always there. To achieve 8th place in Bahrain in circumstances with no DRS is a pretty good result, I think, and going out through the pits twice more than anyone else, I think that's a pretty good result. I think he'll be very happy, and he'll be secretly confident they'll be able to stay on the podium. Hamilton up at third, as he was able to drive through the pack last year, not win the race, but he was able to get up certainly into the top 10. And I think starting from second, as I predicted, he'll drop one place to Alonso, but that's about it really. I can't see him doing too bad. I think he'll have a solid Grand Prix to make up for the first half of the Bahrain Grand Prix, which he failed at, and I think if he can do that to the best, I think he'll possibly win the Grand Prix, but I can't see it. I can see him, but I put him third because I can see him getting on the podium. And fourth I put Vettel, fifth I put Perez, and sixth I put Grosjean. I put Vettel fourth because, as I said, the Red Bull will chew up their tyres too much. I can't see him going anywhere but backwards, unfortunately, in this Grand Prix. I think Webber will drop out of the top 10. No, I don't think he'll even make it into the top 10, so he'll have a very dismal weekend to go to his great season so far. It's really bad for Webber. I feel so bad for him. But Vettel, I think he'll drop back because of tyres. I think he chews up his tyres more than any other driver, certainly in the top 8 at least, because even the China he was able to preserve his tyres, I don't think he'll quite be there in terms of like the soft tyres working for them. I think they have to put 3 or 4 laps earlier than everyone else, which will give them the undercut, but then they have like worse tyres towards the end of the Grand Prix, unfortunately, which I think he'll drop back in the first stint, and that will cost him quite badly. I put Perez 5th because, as I said, he's still revived after Bahrain. I think McLaren have got ultimate race pace. He's a happy driver at the minute. I think he's like the new Lewis Hamilton of McLaren, and I think he should definitely stay at McLaren after seeing performance in Bahrain. And I think he'll come up through the pack, make up 5 spots to come 5th from 10th, and I think his strategy will work out for him just the way it should. Maybe not the best because he won't get a podium, but I think it'll just work out really well for him. And then after Perez, I put Grosjean because I think he's back in the mix, but I don't think Spain. I don't remember Lotus doing well at any track, and I don't remember any highlight of Spain for Lotus last year. It was a pretty dismal Grand Prix, and I can see him maintain his position in 6th, going back to his Australia sort of days. But I mean, he'll have certainly a few incidents along the way, a bit like that one there. But I I can see him maintaining position and finishing solidly in the points, but I can't see him having a good Grand Prix as he did in Bahrain. Bahrain is the first GP2 race, which is why he's really good there, and maybe that's why Perez is there as well. But who knows? But I can see him maintaining position because he's had one Grand Prix at Spain, or possibly two if you include his 2009 race. But I think he'll maintain position as he's still on the high at the minute from Bahrain along with Perez. 7th I put Massa because I don't think he'll be there this weekend, unfortunately. I think all the pressure will be off him and I don't think he'll be able to perform, unfortunately for him. I like Massa, I prefer him to certainly most of the Red Bulls, but I don't think he'll be there on pace after seeing him in the last few Grand Prix. He's been off the pace of Alonso, in the race at least. I mean, in qualifying he's been there, but in the race he's just dropped back from Alonso, whether that be for problems or whatever. I mean, he suffered the same sort of problems as Alonso. They're different, but they're the same. But I don't think he's there. I mean, he's been about 15 seconds on average away from Alonso. But then after Massa, I put Raikkonen 8th, Sittel 9th, and Pastor Maldonado 10th. with ambition. I put Raikkonen 8th because, as I said, the Lotus I don't think's there. Even though it's Kimi Raikkonen, I think he's still a bit race rusty at this track and not used to it. And I don't see Lotus having a good Grand Prix because the track will heat up and I don't think that will suit their car. Yes, it may have suited them in Bahrain, but that was extreme temperatures. I think that was so different that it made a huge change. But Spain, I don't think it will suit their car at all, which is why I predict them 6th and 8th, and Raikkonen doing worse off because I think he'll gamble on strategy and I don't think he'll come out for him. I think he'll have some sort of pit stop problem. 9th I put Sittel after he hasn't finished the race for quite a long time and he'll be determined to get into the top 10 and score some points because he needs a good Grand Prix. I don't think he wants a good Grand Prix, he needs a good Grand Prix. And I think he's got the pace definitely, but I don't think he'll be there on like qualifying or racing for some good points. I think he needs a good Grand Prix and I think he'll get a few points, but I think it's going to be a good fight between Force India. I can't wait for that. And then finally put Pastor Maldonado 10th. He'll remember this year a lot less than he did last year at Spain. I mean, he knows this track pretty well to win it, and I think he shocked a lot of people. But Williams being at the moment, the car that they are at the minute, I think they're 10 times worse than they were last year, which is why I predict him to come 10th rather than 1st. And I think the upgrades that will come for Williams will really help them out, along with McLaren. Now I could see Toro Rosso getting some good upgrades as well, but not getting into the points. So yeah, so that's why I put Maldonado 10th. And basically, I think he's got the confidence to do well here, but I don't think he'll actually achieve that. But anyway, let me know what you think. Please like, comment, subscribe for more steps today with the latest F1 previews, predictions and questions that are going around the paddock at the moment. So how's the gold? And I'm out of here.